What do you do for a living?
I'm a pediatric allergist.
I'm an assistant prof and I'm also a physician. I do addiction medicine and family medicine.
How much are you making now as a physician and a professor?
So I make anywhere between $350 to $450K.
So the range is about 4 to 500,000, but I am fee for service. So the more you work, the more you'll make.
I know that going to med school and just doing the path to get to the point you're at carries a lot of debt. How much debt did you graduate with and how did you pay it off if you did?
Most medical doctors will graduate with about $150,000 of debt. I personally modeled for most of my life, so I was able to reduce that load to about $80,000, thank God.
So I graduated with around $100K in debt. During medical school, I got a lot of grants and bursaries, but I also worked part-time as well, and that definitely helped. I got roommates, or I tried to commute as much as I can.
What advice would you give for future MDs?
For MDs everywhere, first of all, it's a long road, but if you're persistent and you work hard, you can achieve it. And also, when you're in your training, try your best to kind of save up as much as you can, have roommates, take the subway, and so that your debt isn't as huge as normally it is.
I really went hard on trying to pay down that debt. Luckily, I was able to because I was fortunate enough to be making enough income and putting all that income into that debt. I try to live very frugally as well. I lived with housemates even though I was a staff physician, and I also really try to save up whenever I can.
Divya.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a resident doctor.
What's a day in the life look like doing that?
You get into the hospital at 8 and then you leave at 9 the next day.
What are you doing your residency in?
In internal medicine. It's the doctors in the hospital that see the inpatients, but then also if you want to subspecialize in cardiology or gastroenterology or any of those things, then you do that first.
What did you study in your undergrad and how was the process?
I studied human biology and then I went to med school at Western and then U of T for residency.
And how much do you make doing this?
So as a resident doctor, you make about $64K and then it goes up every year, and then when you're an attending you make a lot more, but yeah.
How much are you expecting to make once you're an attendant?
I think it depends, anywhere near $250 to $500 depending on what you end up specializing in.
And what advice would you give to someone that wants to do what you're doing and become a doctor?
Work hard, but also have fun too.
And what's your favorite thing about this?
I think at the end of the day, the interactions with patients, really feeling you made a difference in someone's most vulnerable moments, it's super rewarding, and I wouldn't change that for anything.